Welcome back, you beautiful people. I have an exciting video to feast your eyeballs on today. Yes, car park skills you can learn anywhere. Kicking off with this one. Go on, Ed! Number one, this one is nothing. And I don't mean nothing, I mean you do nothing. You do a star jump on your bike. Your bike doesn't leave the ground, but you leave the bike and you get back on the bike. Oh, I'll show you and I'll explain. That's it, but you can actually get bigger. I was a bit scared there. It was my first one of the day and I didn't want to slip a pedal and hit my shins or smack my teeth on my stem. But the way of doing this trick is basically you preload your body. You compress your body into the bike like this, and then you explode off the bike by letting go. You let go your arms and feet simultaneously. If you don't, you'll end up holding with one arm and you find yourself favoring one side of your body to let go than the other because the other side is more of your security and you don't really want to get rid of the bike. But it doesn't matter, it's a progressive thing. You can start off small. Just you can start off with a little bit of a track stand and then you can just, little ones, tiny ones, but then they can get bigger, like this. Right, tip is when you're doing it, compress yourself into the bike and explode up. Don't push the bike away from you because if you do that, your bike's just going to be ghosted in front of you and you're going to land on your feet behind your bike. You don't want to be doing that. You want to be jumping up, straight up from the bike and straight down. Now look down at your contact points. I kind of tend to peripheral vision, look at my front wheel or my stem, seeing where all my contact points are. So I know exactly where to put my feet and my hands back on the bars and my pedals, because if you don't, you could shin yourself and you don't want to do that. Oh, it's just so painful. But it's a good one to learn. If you find the nothing intimidating, maybe start off smaller. Start off with the no footer as a beginning one before you start doing the nothing. So basically you ride along, normal speed, not too fast, not too slow, and just kick your legs up. And this is a cool one because you can hold yourself with your arms on the bars. So when you jump, your weight goes onto your bars and you can kick your legs out and bring them back. Again, you can focus on your pedals for your contact points so you know where to put your feet if you're not so used to, taking your feet off your bike. But it's cool to do it on the flat. This next one is slalom. Now, this is a cool way of learning how to maneuver your body weight from left to right on your bike whilst turning on a flat ground, especially when it comes to like riding trails where you need to shift your body around a lot more. So what you want to do is get yourself some obstacles. I got a rock, I got my water bottle, and I got a little bit of wood right here. I'm going to set them up with a little bit of gap, probably 1.5 bike lengths to 2 bike lengths apart, just so you got enough room to turn in between each obstacle. So I'm going to put the end one as my water bottle. I'm going to put the wood here and I'm going to put my rock here. Now this is a great one because you can start off with the worst side you like to turn. So predominantly I like to go to the right. So this one's cool because you can actually start to learn to go left. So you go left to left or right to left to right. So it's a progressive thing, and also this kind of ends up being the start of the cutty, which is probably one of my favorite things to do on the trail. Now, I don't recommend doing it everywhere because it is quite detrimental to a trail. It does damage it slightly, but if you are in a situation where you do need to just quickly cut and get into something, it's the perfect way, especially on flat surfaces, because you don't really normally learn how to ride flat stuff, because if you come to a trail center or a trail where naturally the dirt shifts into being a bank turn or a berm, so you rely on that for your grip, whereas here you got to find your grip. So it's all about body position and leaning your bike into it to get maximum grip. So the cool thing with having it spaced out, it gives you time to learn the technique. Now when you come into a turn, you can see I'm driving the bike forward constantly. It's like I'm pumping but pushing through to get maximum speed through the turn. Now you can do that when it's wide, but the cool thing is if you shrink it in a bit, it makes it a lot tighter and a little bit more technical, where you have to like rub, and it gets a little bit quicker. The quicker you come in, the more aggressive you will be with that push-pull technique through the turns. And you'll find that the rear will lose grip because you're forcing the grip onto the front, because that's where you want the grip, because you want the bike to turn, and then the bike at the rear will get a bit light and you find the back wheel drifting slightly, but then sit into it the next time you come into the turn. So you come, you push, you're driving your bike forward to get maximum grip. And then whilst you're doing that, you're leaning back onto that back wheel to get the grip back into there. So you're shifting your weight from the front to the rear, to the front to the rear, to get all the grip you can get. Now this next one, I absolutely love it. I'm not really good at it, but I love being on the front wheel, and that is the endo. Now it can come into play out on the trail when it needs to be implemented in a situation where you need to get the rear around, which I'll touch on in a minute, but this is the endo. Basically, you're shifting your weight over the front. You're keeping your arms quite strong and stiff, and you're feathering that front brake. Don't lock the front brake because all your body weight is literally gonna shift over the front and you're gonna go out the front door. You don't wanna do that, but it's all about gradually modularizing the front brake to keep the back wheel off the ground. Now, the best place you can learn this is on a slight gradient, but you can learn on the flat ground right here, especially in a car park where it's hard surface. Now, when it's a bit loose like this is where you need to get the weight onto the front to get maximum grip to the wheel, because if you don't, the front wheel is just gonna slide. Not good at it, to be honest. Like, the aim is to come with a little bit of speed, not too slow, because you want to gain a bit of distance on the front wheel with the rear wheel up in the air. Now, I'm gonna do that again, but there's a cool little tip here. When you're doing it, yes, you can just shift your weight over the back, but it's always nice to have like a pre-hop into it. Kind of sets you up really nice. So have your saddle about half mast, and when you come into it, just squash down into the saddle, and when you do that, shift your weight forward, and then apply the front brake. And this will basically push your weight onto the front wheel, and you can feel it when it grips or when it feels like it's gonna go too far over. Let go of the front brake and the back wheel will drop. If not, shift your body weight all the way over the back to just bring your weight to the rear to get that back wheel down. If not, see ya. Now, moving on from the endo, you can actually improvise the endo to learn your fakie skills. Now, hashtag Blakey can't fakie, it's a thing.
Oh wait, can you not roll backwards? Blakey can't fakie.
I can't really fakie that well, but I've been practicing, so I'm gonna show you how to fakie by using the endo. Or a bank, like that one over there. So what I mean by using the endo to get into the fakie, well, when you come, you don't want to fully endo and travel on the front wheel. This is where you want to do a stoppie. So you stop like that, and then once you're like this, shift your body weight backwards, like that, to get yourself into a bit of a movement backwards. And the point where you're doing the fakie, this is where you need to contract your pedaling. You want to go backwards. You want to pedal backwards to go with the speed of the bike backwards. Now, you don't want to be in a really high climbing gear, because that means you're going to be spinning a lot more. You want to be in between the block if you've got gears. If you're a single speed, it doesn't really matter. You're not going to be in a really fast climbing gear. Now, middle of the block or 4 down from the top is perfect kind of RPM to get your wheels, to get your pedals moving backwards. Ones in the comments will be like, why are you hopping backwards? Hey, I'm not very good at faking, but I'm riding backwards, generally. Now, if you're not comfortable with doing the nose press or the endo into it, find yourself a little bank like this where you can roll up and then lean back off of it, feathering your brakes, but remember to back pedal. Now, if you're going fast, you can actually rely on your back pedals to slow you down, so find the resistance and you can slow yourself down instead of locking up on the brakes. So, got a little bank here. I'm not going to be utilizing the endo to get my rear speed, and we'll learn to fakie off this. Now we moved on from the endo. You've improvised the endo to learn the fakie by getting your body weight over the back to get some momentum backwards. Now, this one I actually love doing out on the trail, and that is the endo 180, or the pivot turn. So again, you come in, you do an endo, but you're pulling your rear over with your hips and you're facing back the way you come. Now, when I'm filming on a trail and I need to go back up the trail to come back down to film a certain section, I will ride up, do an endo turn, and then come straight back without even putting my feet down. I flipping love that stunt. I do it everywhere and it's fun. Kind of you can do an endo and put your back wheel on something and then ride off, or, it's a cool one, it feels great, and this is how you do it. So you come in with a bit of momentum, and this is where you want to carve. So depending on which way you want the rear to spin, for me, I like my rear to go over to the right and right round. Now, it all works the same way. If you want to go left, you just got to carve right. Now, I'm going to carve left to get the back end right. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to turn my wheel to initiate it, and as soon as I start turning, this is where I hit the front brake and get the back over. By getting the back over like that is where you're going to use your hips. You're going to manipulate your hips, so you're going to spin. You're going to tense up your core, and you're going to bring your backside by hooking your feet on the bike and curl it all the way around and twist your whole body straight and look ahead the way you've just come. It's simple, but it's one that takes a bit of time and a bit of practice. Now start off small. You don't have to go full 180. You can go to 90 or 85 or 75, even 45, just to feel the back end coming, because you'll find that you won't commit to having a high back wheel like this because it feels a bit weird and a bit sketchy. But to be honest, having it high, there's a balance point. Round about there's a balance point. Down here it's really hard because you're fighting to keep the back wheel up and you're trying to keep your body weight over there, but your body weight's too central of the bike. You want to bring it up to centralize over your stem. You want to keep your body weight central. This next one, if you're in a car park, you probably have a curb. Now this is where it gets cool. Now I like doing this on the trail where it gets a bit sketchy, and it's doing the endo drop off like this. Yep. Let go, let go, let go! Yep. Let go, let go! Oh! Hey! Yeah, see? One of those was with wireless brakes. I had no cables whatsoever to a caliper down there. I've linked that video down below if you want to see it. Wireless brakes is a thing. I invented it. Anyway, moving on. Basically, when you come into a situation where there's a little ledge, just like this right here. So I'm going to come in, and as soon as I get to the end, I'm going to push my body weight forward by locking the front wheel. And when I get to a point where I need to just jump off, I'm going to push my body weight off like that. It's basically a bonus trick. I actually really like doing it. That's a commitment one. It's a bonus feature from learning the endo to shifting your body weight over. Remember to keep your arms strong and feel the weight coming forward to a point where you're like, right, let's let go of the brakes right now and drop in. But when you drop in, it's all about pulling off the front. You gotta lift the front up so to get it away from underneath you. Because if it doesn't, it's like cantilever, not cantilever, it's like a point of no return. You get to a point where it's strong, but when it goes past itself, it's just like a zoink, and you just go off the front. So hopefully these tips and tricks have helped you kind of boost your mountain bike skills in a flat area before you even hit the trail, like these dudes right here. I'm gonna go and shred some rigs out there on the trail. We're using some skills there they've probably learned in the flat ground. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. See ya. Cup of tea? Cup of tea, please.